A history of Williams F1 having competed since 1975, Williams is one of the longest-standing teams in the Formula One World Championship. Although they have used numerous different engine partners, they still have an impressive results record, including 9 Constructors' Championships, 7 Drivers' Championships and 113 race wins. Although the team entered their first race in 1975, they did not officially become Williams Grand Prix Engineering until 1978. Then they started to produce their own cars. Frank Williams hired Patrick Head, beginning one of the strongest and most enduring partnerships in Formula One. Head's first car, the FW06, debuted in 1978 with Alan Jones at the wheel. The team had a mixed season but still managed to score 16 points. The following season rules dictated that teams run 2 cars, so Jones was joined by Clay Regazzoni. It was Regazzoni who scored the team's first victory at the British Grand Prix in 1979. The following year, Jones secured the Drivers' Championship and led the team to their first Constructors' title, which they retained in 1981. Disaster struck in March 1986, when Frank Williams was seriously injured in a car crash. He was left paralyzed and was unable to return to the racetrack for almost a year. Despite the absence of their team principal, the team won 9 Grand Prix and their 3rd Constructors' crown, kicking off an 11-year spell of dominance. They would have secured the Drivers' title for Nigel Mansell had it not been for a tire failure in the final round of the season. With Frank Williams back at the helm in 1987, they retained the Constructors' title and the Drivers' Championship for Nelson Piquet. Having lost the deal with former engine supplier Honda, Williams were unable to secure another major manufacturer for 1988. The team was forced to run naturally aspirated jet engines when their rivals were enjoying turbo power. Piquet followed the Honda engine and left the team for Lotus. He was replaced by Riccardo Patrese. The team were able to secure a long-term deal with Renault in 1989, a prolific partnership that would last until the engine supplier's departure from the sport in 1997. After 2 seasons with Ferrari, Mansell returned to the team in 1991, and enjoyed his most successful season in 1992, winning the Drivers' title and helping the team to their 5th Constructors' accolade. Mansell shocked both his fans and the sport by leaving F1 at the end of the season to compete in the IndyCar Championship. The team, unfazed, went on to win both championships again in 1993, this time with Alain Prost at the wheel, but at the end of the season Prost announced his retirement. 1994 was a year that remains etched in the hearts of F1 fans around the world, as well as in the history of the Williams team and the sport. Ayrton Senna died in an accident while leading the race at Imola, having completed just 5 laps. Since his death, every Williams car has carried an S somewhere on its livery as a mark of respect. The subsequent legal backlash rocked the team, after Italian prosecutors charged Frank Williams, Patrick Head and designer Adrian Newey with manslaughter. The case dragged on, and the trio has to wait for 2005 for the court to finally clear them of any wrongdoing. Despite the somber season, Williams won their 7th consecutive Constructors' crown. In 1996, Williams won their 8th Constructors' crown, as well as the Drivers' title for Damon Hill. The following year they won both championships again. This time it was Jacques Villeneuve who took the Drivers' crown. To date, it is the last time they won either championship. The team's form took a dip in the late 90s, and despite winning a handful of races they were unable to mount a serious challenge to Ferrari. Their form returned in the second half of 2003 and they recorded 4 wins, but it was too late and they finished runners-up to Ferrari after the last race showdown. A huge accident at Indianapolis left team driver Ralf Schumacher with a broken spine, keeping him out of the championship for 6 races. He was replaced first by Marc Jean and then Antonio Pizzonea. At the end of the 2005 season, the team lost engine supplier BMW and switched to Cosworth Power. Early promise quickly faded into a string of DNFs, leaving the team 6th in the standings. Although subsequent cars' performance made steps forward, Williams now found themselves at the back of the grid more often than the front. Despite being one of just 3 teams to use the innovative double diffuser for 2009, the team were the only one not initially capitalize on the technology, and Kazuki Nakajima also struggled to match up to the performance of teammate Nico Rosberg. The team finished the season 7th in the Constructors' Championship. The pole position at the penultimate race in Brazil for Nico Hülkenberg was the highlight of 2010 as Williams, who were also bolstered by Rubens Barrichello, beat Force India to 6th in the Constructors' Championship by a single point. But 2011 proved to be a season to forget as Barrichello and Pastor Maldonado only scored a combined 5 points as they finished a lowly 9th. Senna returned in 2012, Ayrton's nephew Bruno, to partner Maldonado. The season marked a turnaround in fortune and a first victory since 2004, as Maldonado took his maiden career victory at the Spanish Grand Prix. It was undoubtedly the high point of a season which saw them rise to 8th in the Constructors' Championship, though they failed to make the return to the podium. The following season saw a step back in the wrong direction, as they again scored just 5 points all season with Maldonado and debutant Valtteri Bottas